So this is something I've been thinking about recently, and maybe you guys can tell me what your opinion is in the comments later. But are we in America moving to a low trust society? And what I mean, what I mean by low trust society is I think it's just in general, do we trust our community, our government, our neighbors? Do we trust these infrastructures? Do we trust it to withhold? Do we trust our investments in U.S. assets to hold up over 10, 20 years? And that, not just do you trust yourself to go to the gas station that's local to your house? Not just like that, right? And I think recently, especially in the past, since COVID, since we've the country has handled so many crises horribly that I think the trust in the government is just gone, right? We got the Epstein files, we have the war in Iran right now, just current events right now that I would say make our government hard to trust. Just doesn't make any sense. And we also now have foreign countries, affecting our U.S. elections and politics, which is, very concerning. And I don't know. I think we just don't have enough answers. I think we're just too in the dark for us to trust the government. And then now the community. I think because the government has made it harder to obtain resources or made your resources, less valuable through inflation. I think people have been struggling, so it's hard to have compassion when you're drowning as well, right? So if we're all drowning, how can I have compassion for you? Because I'm first trying to make sure I don't drown, right? And I think that's engineered in a way that is just so really almost wicked, because I don't think we've noticed, before COVID and now after COVID, the inflation hit, and now it's never went back down. It hasn't even, it just doesn't make any sense. How after COVID, how can supply chains be just so bad all of a sudden, right? I mean, maybe some statistical genius or someone who's in the field can let us know. But trust in the government is gone. Trust in the community is almost gone, if not gone. Um, Trust in institutions, like religion. I think it's all gone too. I think people are less religious. I myself am atheist. I was I was raised in a Christian household, but after further thinking, and I'm gonna write a book, and if you're gonna read in the future, if you're staying with me, if you read that book, you're gonna learn a lot, and maybe you'll change your mind as well. And it hurts, I think, when you change your mind like that too. But anyways, institution wise, I think there's a lot of less faith in school, in churches, um, just in general. There's a lot less faith. I mean, people are critiquing those places more. People are critiquing how schools are ran more. People are critiquing how churches aren't looking out for the community enough. I think those just people just don't have enough faith in these institutions as well. And I try to look into positives. I think, but I think the real positive is there's nothing wrong with this, I guess, because eventually, if the trust in these institutions and current leaders are gone, maybe it will take 5, 10 years, but eventually they'll go away, and that's just how democracy work, which is the good thing, because America is a democracy and a free country, and eventually the right things tend to play out if as long as we keep these rights intact. And that's the same way with I think the community. I think as long as we have a core group of people who are trustworthy, I think we can keep to keep the rest of the community upwards. But somewhat, I do think we are moving into a low trust society, and it feels weird. I mean, I've never thought about moving out of America. When I was a kid, I thought this would be like the best country to live in. But as I've grown as an adult and I got the means to in the future, not right now, but in the future, I'll have the means to live somewhere else. Those are things that I would consider, and that is just a result of this place just being a little bit more low trust. harder to trust the government, your community, your institutions. I think, you just have to have almost a backup plan at that point. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys have anecdotal data on why it's high trust, but I'm always interested to hear. Thank you.